Hello and welcome to Pluralsight's IT Ops News and Talk Show. I'm Don Jones, Curriculum Director for IT Ops Content, and this is our show for May 2016. Let's start with a quick news update from the world of IT brought to you by Pluralsight author Tim Warner.
Microsoft announced in May 2016 that Windows 10 is now installed on over 300 million active devices worldwide. Now know that Microsoft's announcement is significant because Windows 10, the client operating system, has only been out in the wild for 10 months. It was released to manufacturing in July 2015. Note also that Microsoft's announcement includes PCs, both desktop and laptop PCs, Microsoft Surface tablets, Microsoft Windows Phone 10-based smartphones, and Xbox consoles. Nonetheless, that's certainly a lot of devices. Another note that's important is that historically, that is to say over the previous 10 months, Windows 10 upgrade has been free. You may have been nagged in your Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 environment to perform the free upgrade. Note that that window, so to speak, closes on July 29, 2016. On July 30th forward, you're going to have to pay for Windows 10. The list price is $119 for a single-user license of Windows 10 Home or $199 for Windows 10 Pro. Microsoft has certainly done quite a bit of guerrilla marketing, as I said, nagging/encouraging/prompting users to do the in-place upgrade from their existing Windows version. Oracle and Google trial, Battle of the Titans. In May 2016, the trial is set to begin. Oracle is suing Google for copyright infringement. Specifically, Oracle is looking for $8.8 billion in damages from Google. Here's the deal. The Google Android mobile operating system is based in Java, and you might know or you might not know that in that Android source code, it is open source after all, includes about 7,000 lines of Sun Microsystems proprietary Java code. Now, Sun Microsystems, at the time when they owned Java, they didn't care if Google borrowed those lines of code for inclusion in Android. But once Oracle bought Sun and they discovered what was going on, Oracle sure got mad. At the center of this debate and center of the trial is the issue of copyright and whether Google has a claim for fair use of that code. Another thing that's going to be particularly problematic, as you can expect, is that this trial is going to involve heavily technical language. We're dealing, after all, with a mobile operating system. We're dealing with application programming interfaces, and that's stuff that most judges, I dare say, don't know much about. Certainly that would be the case probably for a jury, attorneys, and so on and so forth. Nonetheless, this is going to be an absolutely fascinating trial to watch. Finally, we have the issue of who is Satoshi Nakamoto. If you're familiar at all with the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, the distributed, anonymous, virtual currency that's been around now for a few years, it's had its ups and downs, literally and figuratively. Well, the identity of Bitcoin's architect has historically been in question. The pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto is not the person's real name. Specifically, an Australian entrepreneur named Craig Wright has recently come out of his own volition identifying himself as Satoshi, the original architect of Bitcoin. Now, and by his, I'm not necessarily saying Craig Wright's, as you'll understand in just a minute, but Satoshi's identity and his authorship of the 2011 white paper that defines Bitcoin has always been shrouded in mystery. Certain businesses, in particular Wired and Gizmodo, have devoted a lot of time and research trying to identify Satoshi by looking at his online posts and doing language comparisons and such things. And Wired and Gizmodo were pretty sure that Wright was Nakamoto, so when Craig Wright came out on his blog explaining that he was Nakamoto, at least these two companies received some measure of validation. However, and this is a big however, the latest news here is that Craig Wright deleted his explanatory blog post, and what he had promised to produce was proof of access to the earliest crypto keys in Bitcoin. In other words, it would be information. Craig would provide information that demonstrated he knows Satoshi Nakamoto's private key. If you go to his blog, drcraigwright.net, you'll find that he has a replacement, a JPEG image called I'm Sorry, in which he retreats back into the shadows. So once again, we have this Satoshi Bitcoin authorship controversy still gaining traction. And If you go to Reddit and other online discussion forums, you'll find a lot of people who are suspicious of Craig Wright, who say that he only backed off of his claim that he was Satoshi when he was asked to provide proof that he had access to the earliest crypto keys. Nonetheless, there are probably just as many other people who believe in the preponderance of evidence that Mr. Wright is in fact Satoshi. Does this matter a whole lot in the final analysis? Is this just an intellectual point, or is it significant? In some senses, the discussion's moot because as of this recording, the official architect of Bitcoin remains unknown. 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 Remains unknown.